You don't talk to anybody. You don't talk to men just because you're single. And they sold you this lie of, oh, it would just come. You need to stop worrying about that. Just serve the Lord. And if you get busy and you pretend like you don't want marriage, then it's going to come. We don't give this advice for anything else. If someone wants a higher paying job, no one says to be idle.
This is Drew. I want to welcome you back to another episode of Real Talk Today. Today, what we're going to get into is how does the church keep single women single? We're going to get into it as soon as we run the intro.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't.
You don't talk to anybody. You don't talk to men just because you're single. And they sold you this lie of, oh, it would just come. You need to stop worrying about that. Just serve the Lord. And if you get busy and you pretend like you don't want marriage, then it's going to come. We don't give this advice for anything else. If someone wants a higher paying job, no one says to be idle. They say, keep applying, position yourself in the job market, right? Until it happens. Even if you get rejected by one company, does that mean that you stop applying for the job that you want? No. You keep applying until it happens.
Facebook or something, or any social media site, you'll see older women, probably like in their 35s, multiple baby daddies and kids, right? And they will say, I want me a Christian man or a God-fearing man, right?
Hear it all the time.
You know why they'll say that? It's because we're in the Bible Belt and in church is taught about forgiveness, repentance, washing my sins new white as snow.
If we go online, this is basically what we hear. If you listen to any of our women, describe what they're looking for in a dating partner, somebody that they say they want to settle down with, somebody that, they deem valuable, so to speak. One of the first things they come out with is, I want a God-fearing man. And that's either before or right after they want a man to make no $100,000 a year. Then they get into, he needs to be, over 6 feet, whatever, all these qualifications that they start listing. But this God-fearing man seems to come out of everybody's mouth right behind, he needs to have money. So I really wanted to touch on it because I don't hear anybody really, breaking us down to try to figure out what exactly is going on. Do these women really want a man that walks with God, somebody that, they feel like, well, if he walks with God, this is somebody that I can follow or whatnot? Or is this just another tool to try to keep a man under control so that, basically, first of all, he'll forgive all the transgressions, everything she did in the past, because, a lot of these women were not exactly, saints when they were younger. They usually have multiple kids by multiple men. You may have, other issues going on disease-wise, or, they may have been, prostitutes, whatever the case may be. If we're being real, the church is full of women. And a lot of these women, usually the church is like where it seems to be the last stop that they tend to make after everything else has failed. They've got a lot of failed relationships, have a bunch of kids, the money's not going right. Then they realize, they need some help because they've been dealing with men on the street, basically, that kind of use them and leave them. Because these women are picking these men, basically, it's based on what they look like, first of all. He got some swag or whatever, or if they feel he's a man that every other woman wants, then that seems to be the man that get to make all the babies, so to speak. Where, the statistics already came out about 2 or 3 years ago that over 50 to 60% of men are childless. They've never been married and they don't have children. So, and then when you factor in that the other 30 to 35% of men are married, and those guys are older, but they're pretty much off the market. Then you get another 5%, maybe 10, I would say probably 3 to 5% guys that are, deal with same sex or whatnot. You're not leaving, but maybe, let's see, we talking 50, 80, 10 to 15% pool of men that all of these women have their sights set on, so to speak. So it's a situation where a few men are getting all the women. I mean, we used to see this all the time when women had that day on television where one guy had fathered, 10 kids, 15 kids, all this kind of stuff. This the same guy that these women know got other kids that they can't take care of, and they'll still have a baby with him because he has pretty hair. But as, things have progressed on, and life didn't go quite their way, they used to use the church as solitude, a resting place, basically after they're wore out.
Y'all pray for me.
Well, there it is.
Bible said the food makes a man out of God. He's nothing to be played with.
Here we go.
And food and heart says there's no God, but God is real.
Sound like an old
I come
crackhead.
home drunk from school, laying up with men.
Oh my goodness.
Out there prostituting.
There it
having
is.
all with my mouth.
Oh my God.
Licking me in
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Oh my God. I really
So when
wasn't
they say
expecting
stuff-
that. I'm sorry, guys. I kind of glimpsed over some of these videos, but I wasn't really expecting that. But, we got to have a little bit of fun with this. I mean, it's a serious subject, but, I don't want to take it too serious. But, oh my God. That's what we're talking about. A lot of these women, the churches that last stop, after everything is done and they just beat down and there's nothing left.
They say stuff like that is they looking for a man that believes that. So his mind has already been fucked up to believe that, this woman, she could be cleansed and new and fresh. Yeah, she then grew her virgin pussy back now. You know what I'm
Lord
saying?
have mercy.
Like, and
There
so
it is.
that's why those men actually, that's why those women actually prey on men like that when they get older. But nobody thinks of that. But that's the truth. That's why they say, if y'all know y'all done seen it. Oh, I'm looking for a Christian man. I'm looking for a God-fearing man. Bitch has 6 kids, 8 baby daddies.
I know that's right.
I'm celibate now, and I'm waiting on my Boaz
Not Boaz.
to come and save me. I'm like, bitch, what?
Of course she ready now.
Of course she ready. Yeah, because that pussy got a lot of miles on it. Yeah, she ready to put it. She got to set it down a little bit. Right, she needs some new tires on her shit.
Oh my God, tires ain't wore out.
The church ain't gonna do. The church ain't gonna put new tires on. She probably gonna change the way she dresses a little bit. And she gonna sit down, but ultimately she's still gonna be bored because she likes the way that is.
Yep.
And it's probably a few niggas that came before him that if they would have did right, they would have had a probably decent relationship. But he knew who he was dealing with.
Like this video right here we just looked at, on this panel. I kind of like how they broke it down, what's actually going on. When a woman's, one of her top things that she's asking for is a God-fearing man. She's hoping that all the sins basically that she's committed in the past will be overlooked. And you have to overlook them because you're a man of God and God forgives, so you should forgive. And you should just act like, she's born again and, be happy and lucky that you got you a church woman now that was for the streets earlier. And basically, men are getting hip to it. That's why, a lot of men, they're not in the church anymore. If you go into just about any church, I've been in quite a few over the years. And it was probably, if I had to guess, 80% women, probably 50 to 60% single moms with no father in there. And the men that were there, they were, 50, 60, 70 guys, they wore down, beat down and tired. And half of them wasn't even with a woman because usually the men that are deep in the church like that just sit outside in the pews or whatnot, real quiet, nice guy. Those church women, they don't want them. They don't offer no kind of excitement. So those guys that usually in the church, have gotten older there, if they don't have a wife or somebody they've been dealing with for years or whatnot, usually they're in the church by themselves. Because these men are not getting picked. They will go into church, go and hoop and holler on Sunday, but when soon as they get out of church, they're going back on the street looking for somebody to give them a tingle down there, so to speak, somebody to give them some excitement. These church men, unless he's the one in charge, the pastor or somebody, of authority or whatnot to give her some kind of clout in the church, Now, she'll try to get with somebody like that if he's not married or she thinks she can get him. But and let's be real, the guy that's sitting out in the pews, the older cats out there, their back kind of broke down, they walking kind of bent over, they tired, those men are not wanted. These women in the church, they don't want them guys. They want to take a man off the street and then try to switch him over, to a church man. She want to take a thug and then try to make him a businessman, take somebody, that she met out in the street, so to speak, and bring him in there, to be a man of God. But she doesn't want the guys that are already there. Those guys are not the ones that these women tend to choose. And with her having a guy that she's gotten converted to the church, so to speak, that puts her in a position where, like we had said before, where she can kind of manipulate him, keep him in line, so to speak. But men have figured out ultimately, 9 times out of 10, when you go into church, especially if you're a church member on a regular basis, seems more like a money grab, and it's a situation where the pastor's running your house and you lose control, because as soon as you say something out of line, she run the pastor. Next thing, pastor pulling you and her in there and then telling you, where the Bible says this and that, but a lot of times that's the pastor's interpretation. But any man worth his grain of salt, he's not gonna put himself in a position where another man is running his house, but he's still supposed to pay the bills and keep everything going. But basically everything that gets said or done in the house has to come from the pastor. It just doesn't work that way. And the few men that they actually manage to kind of persuade them to go to church or whatnot, average man, if he's thinking, he see all the buffoonery that's going on in there, whatnot, he's not gonna take that serious, like this is something that he needs to bring into his life. Men, we're more logical. We know when something doesn't look quite right. Oh my God. We about to bust a wig open. Nah, you ain't got to do all that. To me, that's somebody just an attention seeker. She wants to be the star of the show or whatnot. Probably not been looked at as valuable all her life, but she can get in church and act a fool, and that's all about me. I mean, come on now. You're not going to tell me you got to do all that to worship God. I'm not buying it, and most men aren't either. But let's continue.
One of the hottest club scenes in America you'll find in Atlanta, Georgia, or in the vicinity.
Ha! That's a club.
I'm not going. I'm not living without you. I don't want to be free. I'm staying.
Oh, my goodness.
Staying. You're gonna love me. You're gonna love.
Oh my God. Like I said, I'm just trying to have a little fun with this. We obviously, the woman couldn't sing or whatnot. She did the best she could. I don't have a problem with having a little fun, because I want to keep the subject kind of light, but there's a serious message that's involved. Because even for, lighthearted situations like what we just looked at, there's situations like this going on in the church also.
Demo. Look that demo. Look, oral sex. Oral sex demo. You see oral sex? Look, oral sex. Look.
Yeah,
you oral sex. Use oral sex. Let that sperm of that man out.
She swallows.
Out, you demo. Out.
Freeman's coming up.
Let go.
That's semen.
Let go.
Oh my God.
Who are you? Who are you? Look at that demo. Who are you?
Oh my God.
Speak out. Who are you? Who are you?
Y'all some fools. She gone, man. She gone.
Jesus.
Y'all took religion and look what you did. White man try to help you. Look what y'all doing. You see that woman in the background? She's scared she was gonna start spitting up semen. Did you see her face? Look at her. Oh man, I hope God don't see me in here. I got 2 cups of semen in my stomach right now.
Oh my God. And this next video, we're gonna leave that other one right where it's at. I'm not gonna touch that one. That was just funny. But this next video, we're going to start to get into the other aspects, you know, the financial, where it seems like it's more of a money grab than trying to bring families together, whatnot, you know, basically under the same religious belief. But let's take a look at it.
But I don't want you to come here empty-handed.
$1,000 prayer line, $5,000 prayer line, $50,000 prayer line.
That's right.
How is it?
That's right.
They're all these mega devils before they go off the air.
Mega devils.
Trying to get that money.
Papa said what?
He just called me and said for everybody to connect to the word that you just said. He said, have mama tell everybody to sow a seed for exactly what you said, word for word.
For me, as a prophet, as a high priest, if I'm going to break an altar,
high priest,
I can't take you to God empty-handed.
God don't need no money.
Religious suckers.
Yeah.
That's what you are.
That's right.
You're a Bible-carrying, church-driving sucker.
That's right.
Fall for these scams.
Yeah.
These men are nothing but hustlers.
Oh. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand, we're in a material world. We need money to operate. We need money to live. The church needs money to keep the lights on, whatever they got going on, keep the rent paid, lease paid, taxes. I get all of that. But my thing is, come to me as such. Don't try to act like, God needs my money, because we all know that's not the case. The church need the money. The pastor need the money. People like Creflo over here getting jets and whatnot, so they can live that lavish lifestyle. Hell, they don't need, worry about going to heaven. They live in heaven on earth. It's the rest of us that's down here that's catching hell all the way. I mean, it's time to wake up and stop just being led by all these false prophets. There's other aspects to the church that us men see, and we understand that this is not from God. As far as even with the way the women are dressing in church, they don't. This is not anything godly. It's like they in there trying to find men or at least entice them.
Happy Monday. Abraham waited for 25 years. David waited for 22 years. Joseph waited for 13 years. Moses waited for 40 years. Even Jesus Christ himself waited for 30 years. So if you are waiting on God, start being excited, because you are in good company. And whatever
What is she
God
talking about?
says
We can't hear
will
nothing. Can't even
come
understand
to
her.
pass.
But we don't see nothing but the dress.
Well, what we're doing is we are defining deviancy down. We are redefining the word modest.
Oh my goodness.
And appropriate and proper. And in this day and time, come on, Ohio players, skin tight is what is proper.
Yep.
Dear Christian, Christianity is not trying harder. It's looking more at Jesus. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8 to 9 tells us
Because she's
that
supposed to be
we
some
have
kind of
been
high
saved
priest
by
or whatever,
faith,
priestess
not
or
our
whatever.
own work. So when you look unto Jesus more, your actions just align.
Like I said, you can barely even understand what this woman is even saying. So what she's done is put that tight dress on, and that's to entice the guys. Most guys, if they look at her, especially she has any type of TV ministry or whatnot, they'll look at it, but they're not hearing anything that she's saying. Oh, they're kind of in a situation of lust, so to speak, because, she has a nice shape and she's making sure she uses it to every advantage. This is not church. Like, I'm sorry. I grew up in the church, and I understand church women understand what the Bible says about modesty, and this is not it.
I don't want to see your boots. Your wardrobe is a public statement of your personal and private motivation. Hemlines are a hard issue. Modesty means propriety and decency. It means avoiding clothes and adornment that are extravagant or costly or sexually enticing. Modesty is humility. I love this. Modesty is humility expressed in dress. It's a desire to serve
just like
others,
she is.
particularly men, not promoting or provoking sensuality. And modesty is a choice you make. Immodesty is more than wearing a short skirt or a low-cut top. It's the act of drawing undue attention to yourself. It's pride on display by what you wear. Self-control is, in a word, restraint. Restraint for the purpose of purity, for the purpose of exalting God and not ourselves, and that's the hallmark.
Basically, this woman's just trying to explain, you supposed to be a Christian woman. You can look at how she's dressed, super plain. She's not enticing anything with that, with the attire that she has on. And in all honesty, you're supposed to be going to church. It's supposed to be about worshiping God. That's it. It's not supposed to be in there trying to entice the preacher or whatnot, sitting on the front row with your dress high, your legs cocked open, or dress pulled up, or, running around skirt so tight, if you would have leaned over and sneezed, the whole back would rip out. I mean, when did that become part of the church? And men are not stable. We going in there and we looking at these women preachers with these tight dresses on and whatnot. They're not in there. They're setting no God. They're in there trying to get some attention. Let's just be real. Because the word of God is a hard, ragged rock. It's not about, flashy and who got the, tightest dress or the newest Louis bag. It has nothing to do with any of that. The church has just gotten... Come on, dog. Come on.
I want to preach just for a second of your time, and I thank you for that.
I think it'll be a safe bet to say these aren't the churches you want to go to.
I know that's right.
Grasshoppers are coming. The grasshoppers are coming.
What?
The grass.
Now, I'm all with having fun. Don't get me wrong. These people in church, you see the ones that's in shape and hopping and bouncing around. I just don't think the church is the place for that if we're supposed to be in there to worship God now. Like I said, I know they say, well, this is the way I want to worship. I understand all that. But to me, these are just acts of, please look at me. I need attention or whatnot. I got to get in here and act a fool. And you see some few guys in here, but men are not stupid. Not for the most part. We're not going to just go for anything. We understand that this right here is like some type of club type action. It has nothing to do with worshiping God. And from a logical standpoint, like I say, even myself, I grew up in the church and whatnot, but it's a lot of times we want to return to it even as we get older. But the church has turned to basically a sideshow. It's just not somewhere that seems conducive to worship God. I think you'd have a better chance of anything, just do that in the privacy of your own home.
My name's Sophia. My name's Sophia Morris. I was raped.
What?
At 8.5 years old.
I don't think I need to be up in the church in front of everybody.
I kept it to myself. I didn't know who to trust.
I said, take a seat on that one.
They all looked like him. 8.5 years old. Taffy, look at this.
Oh, my goodness. She's talking about having been hemmed up 8 years
How old are you?
old.
8. He's 8 years old. I was 8.5. When my mother's boyfriend took my child away from me. But God,
the blood of Jesus against
we go.
My mother knew about it. Okay, fine.
My God.
My mom came to me 2 days ago.
The blood of Jesus.
My mom was raped.
The
It's not
blood.
that. Okay,
No,
I'm bringing awareness. I'm bringing.
She is lying. She is lying. The blood of Jesus against her.
She
God in heaven. She's she by the Lord, and she got
See, a situation like this woman needs therapy. Obviously, she's been through hell, but I don't see where any of this has to do with worshiping God. There's a time and place for everything. That's one thing that comes out of the Bible. And, you know, this woman has obviously been through it, but I don't think this is the place, you know, to come in and just start a sideshow or whatnot. That's something that should have been handled between the police, your mother, and whatnot, you know, a lot of years ago. But this is the kind of stuff that's going on in these churches right now. And this is another reason that men are like, man, I ain't going in there for all that. You know, I want to see some drama. I'll turn something on the television or whatnot. You know, I'm supposed to be going in here to get some peace, you know, get some understanding. But if this the kind of stuff that's going on, I'm going to cash out. I don't think this is for me. That's what most guys are saying. Here we go again. That's screaming, but give me that attention. Red big woman. And this is basically what you're going to be finding going on in the church these days. I mean, it's just too much. And I'm not saying it's going on in all of them, but it's too many of them. Men understand basically that, you know, we have to look out for these red flags that's going on in it. We can't just close a blind eye and act like, well, none of it is our business or whatnot. Because when we go to the church, we expect, you know, to see something of a higher standard. We don't expect to go to church and to witness or encounter situations that are even more provocative or more out of control than what we see, you know, in our day-to-day walking around and whatnot. And men also understand that if you don't be careful, you go in here, you know, let a woman, you know, fool you just because she goes to church or whatnot, and you think that she's something that she's not. You're going to end up with a life full of heartache and pain, or even worse, with a woman like this in the church.
Do you have any kids?
I have 3. Yep, I have 3. All of my kids are grown, 19, 25, and 27.
Okay. All by the same man?
No, 2 by my ex-husband.
2 by your ex-husband. Okay. So Tomoko, LA, Aquarius, 45, event coordinator, 3 kids, 2 from her ex-marriage.
Yes.
All right, but what kind of man you looking for, honey?
I'm either way. I can do a female or a guy.
Here we go. Oh my God.
Have you been that way your whole life?
I have, since I was 5.
So in your marriage, did you date women at times?
No, I was married to a preacher, and I didn't even really know that it was a real thing that I can actually date women. I was scared to death, but I tried it and never went back again. So after my divorce, I just decided not to sleep with men and try women, and then it just been a thing for like the past 15 years. I liked women, but I just didn't know that I can actually act on it because of religion and like other things like that. So like, you know, I just had to come to an understanding. So I got married, had kids, did the traditional thing or whatnot. But then after the divorce, I just decided to see if I would, you know, like dating women. And that's pretty much all I've dated is women for the past 15 years. However, I just realized that women play just as many games as men. So now I'm just looking for compatibility, you know. So yeah, that's what I'm on right now.
So just out of curiosity, are you open to each gender equally, or is there one gender you prefer over the other?
I think I prefer women, to be honest with you. I don't think I have, like, I mean, I would date a man, but like, I'm not
She don't want no man.
at the age where I feel like a man would be my priority if I was to date a man, to be honest. I think if a woman is 20 pounds overweight, I think that's too much,
Sure
you know,
is.
so I'm not really willing to like wait to see if she's going to work out. You know, you got to work out.
This woman is very masculine.
Wait, that was ironic. You said if a woman's 20 pounds overweight, it won't work out, and you're not gonna wait to see.
Oh no, I mean, I think it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer to her. All right, let's do the Kendra Cam, child. You know you was talking junk. Your ass better not be overweight. Yes, better not be no 20 pounds overweight for your height.
No, I'm not. I'm not over. Let me see. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me see.
Let's see what
I'll
you
get
got
it.
working on, child.
I'll get it in the mirror. Hold on. I can't believe you like answered here. Girl, I got on here one time. You like 2 minutes and you answered.
You lucky. That never happens, they say.
Okay, hold on. Oh my God, I ain't even dressed or okay. Don't judge me. I don't want these people asking me questions of what I got on.
No, let's get to it.
Have a fupa.
So she better not have a fupa.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh, you want to
right
talk
there.
this body? Okay.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Okay, you look good.
There you go. Thank you.
Guys, if you're not careful, this is the type of woman you'll end up with. I didn't play the whole story. It was just too much, BS involved. But this basically woman was the pastor's wife. And, after, having some kids or whatnot, she decided, go ahead and try women. And she liked it and she didn't look back. But obviously that hadn't worked out very well either because she's on the Kendra G's dating show looking for another partner. And, of course, she had, high specifications, this, that, and the other. But this woman doesn't want a man. She really wants a woman. And where in the Bible did it say? I mean, if you're talking about Christianity, where in the Bible does it say that, man should lay with man or woman with woman? Personally, I don't care what people do. I don't care. But don't try to cover it up, in church language or whatnot, and act like this is something that's ordained by God or whatnot. And I think Kendra did ask a good question. She asked her, you prefer to have women or you prefer to have men? You don't, guys, if you don't ask these kind of questions or try to at least figure out who you're dealing with, especially in church, you'll end up with a woman that may end up dealing with you or might even marry you, to keep up church appearances or whatnot. And then you find out later on, she's not even into men. She doesn't want you. You're not getting any sex. You're arguing. She's, everything you do is not right. You're going to have hell on your hands if you get a woman like this in your house. This woman has a very masculine demeanor. As I kind of, peeped at a lot of the video, her and Kendra had got to arguing and whatnot because she didn't want to be called a lesbian and she's not into all of these, terms that are used, as far as putting labels on all of this mumbo jumbo, basically a lot of word salad. That's all that it is. These women feel like, just because, I put a cutesy name on it, it's not what it is. But I can guarantee if the situation was on the other foot and a man coming in and talking about, hey, I used to sleep with men, but I'm not a homosexual. Every woman in there would have him for breakfast. They would rip a new one into him. But with these women, we're giving them too much of a path to be able to bounce back and forth. And we try to act like, just because it sounds good and it's a society norm, it doesn't make it right. That's my only problem. I mean, pick a side. Be you, live your life, but don't try to put up a fraud or a front, acting like you're one way, knowing in your heart that you're actually another. It's not fair to someone that's looking for a mate, looking for someone, to spend the rest of their life with, looking to share their resources with you or whatnot. It's not fair to them to get involved with a woman and not have a clue what she's all about. And you see, she's been with women. She said out of her own mouth for the last 15 years, and obviously it didn't work because you're not with any of them. And it didn't work with the man because you didn't want to be with him. At some point, you got to pull up a mirror and say, hey, I got to take a look at myself. It's something I've got to be doing wrong because, you done went 15 years no man. You dealt with the other side. I guess the years before you were dealing with men and you couldn't make none of it work. None of it, you couldn't get nobody to stick around. But now you're back here on the dating scene. And you can't find somebody organically. You got to get on a dating show to basically plead your case, on why you want somebody else, and you looking for compatibility and somebody in shape and that. You couldn't find that on the street. I mean, there's plenty of women that go that way that you should be able to attach yourself to, so to speak, if you had the personality. I got to be honest with you, a lot of these church women, they're damaged. They're damaged beyond repair. You cannot save them. If Jesus can't save them, why do you think that you can? That's just not how it works. Usually a person is who they are. They don't do a lot of changing over time unless something catastrophic comes in and shifts their mind thinking or whatnot. But usually, through life, we pretty much are who we are. We are a victim of circumstances or whatnot. True, I do understand that to a certain point. But you can't take somebody, that's been, basically, sleeping with a lot of guys, a lot of babies, a lot of heartache, a lot of guys, impregnate them, imprinted them or whatnot. And all of a sudden, you start reading the Bible, and then through the word of Jesus, now all of a sudden you were reborn and saved and all of that. One has nothing to do with the other. These women are damaged. So don't fool yourself by going up in the church thinking that, oh man, I found a church girl. She a good girl. Yeah. She's saved or whatnot. Don't go in there fooling yourself thinking that you're getting something special. What you're doing is getting something that's left over. You're getting damaged goods. It's as simple as that. You're getting someone that 9 times out of 10, she's been through too many relationships, and she is incapable of true love and bonding.
Guard yourself, ladies, from these evil narcissists, and they are
Here we go.
out to get you. They're everywhere. And just remember, the narcissist is only a few steps down from a psychopath. They are both out to destroy you. The psychopath may kill you, but the narcissist brings a slow death, chipping at you over years and years and years until you finally collapse. You cannot trust the narcissist. The narcissist is all about self-serving behavior. The narcissist has a lack of empathy. The narcissist doesn't care about you or anybody else. And the narcissist will manipulate you to get whatever the narcissist wants out of you.
Now, these are the kind of women right here also that keep other women single. This is an old woman right here. 9 times out of 10, she's by herself, just looking at, the background or whatnot. It looks a little disheveled or whatnot. She's probably 80 years old, 70, 80 years old, throwing terms around that most of these people that use these words like narcissists and all that, a lot of times they don't even know what it means. I took the time to look it up, and I'm going to go over it really quick. A narcissist, this is Google's translation, is a person who has an inflated sense of one's own importance, constantly seeking admiration and attention from others, often lacking empathy for the feeling of others, and displaying behaviors that prioritize their own needs over others. Basically, somebody that believes that they're superior. Now, I got to be honest with you. What I've seen is when you're talking about somebody that's narcissist type personality, according to Google Dictionary and whatnot, that seems to be more of a feminine thing. When these women talk, I'm the prize, I'm a queen, all of these exalting terms and whatnot. The narcissist traits seem to be coming from somebody that, like the definition says, basically has a superiority complex, like they're better than their counterparts. This seems to be more of a modern woman trait than the man, because as far as the men, we pretty much beat down and told, if you ain't got no money, you ain't nothing. You can't provide, you're not anything. But a lot of these women are running around just because I'm born and I'm a female, I'm a goddess, I should be worshiped, adored. You should pay all my bills or whatnot just because of my presence. I get tired of hearing, these women, and these older women, they know better. But what it is, they don't want to see younger women succeed. So they start throwing these terms around that nobody takes the time to look up and actually figure out what it is. A man is not a narcissist because he doesn't do everything that a woman tells him to do. That's not a narcissist. That's somebody that's thinking. That's all that is. It has nothing to do with overinflated ego, this, that, and the other. You know, if you got a decent man or whatnot, he's looking out for, the good of the family or whatnot, paying the bills or whatnot. And then you said, well, I want a $20,000 ring. I want to go on an expensive vacation. You know, I want a $10,000 Louis bag or whatever the case may be. Or, you know, I want to spend $1,000 on a 3-ounce bottle of perfume, whatever the case may be. And then he says, no, we don't have that kind of money to do that. And now you feel like, well, you know, I don't like hearing no. You know, this guy's a narcissist. I don't know who he think he is. He don't know who I am. You know, I'm that B. That is narcissist 101. So let's not get it twisted just because y'all sling these terms around, you know, that just because you say it makes it so. But listening to an old lady like she's lived her life, you listen to somebody else, I think she calls herself kind of a relationship coach and a spiritual healer. You know, I would have to have a whole lot more context, you know, as far as, you know, her trying to give somebody guidance. Because, you know, most of the time, people that are by themselves is for a reason. Their husband may have died or whatnot. I don't know the situation. But what I do understand is just slinging terms around without clear meaning, you know, does no help, no good to anyone. But like I've said in previous videos, you know, for a lot of these women, and right now we're talking about these church women, their mirror doesn't work when they put it up to their own face. And I'm going to leave it at that. And I'll see you at the next one.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
Anxiety, filling up every space, no privacy.